All right, let's just jump right in. We're about to pull back the curtain on a piece of tech you literally use every single day. And I'm telling you, it has a secret ability that sounds like something straight out of a spy flick. You know that little box with the blinking lights in the corner of your room? Your Wi-Fi router? Yeah, that one. What if it was doing more than just streaming Netflix? What if it was watching? Well, it can. And no, this isn't science fiction. We're talking about the exact same Wi-Fi signal that's connecting your phone to the internet right now. It can be used to see movement, to see people, right through solid walls. And this is happening today. So you're probably wondering, how on earth is that possible? And look, this isn't about hacking cameras or anything like that. It all comes down to a basic property of the radio waves that are just blanketing your home as we speak. So let's get into it. Let's uncover Wi-Fi's hidden superpower. Think about it. Your router is constantly broadcasting radio signals. They're zipping through the air, bouncing off of your furniture, your walls, and they pass right through a lot of stuff. It's like your entire home is filled with this invisible ocean of information. And the official name for this is Wi-Fi sensing. And again, it's not using a camera. Nope. It's just watching for tiny disturbances in that invisible ocean of radio waves. When you move, you create ripples. And those ripples, they can be detected and analyzed. Okay, I know this sounds a bit like magic, right? But the science behind it is actually surprisingly simple. It borrows ideas from stuff we already know, like radar and sonar. So let's break down exactly how you can see with nothing but radio waves. Okay, so here's how it works, step by step. First, your router sends out its signals. These signals bounce all over the room and create this kind of stable pattern, a baseline. But the moment you walk into that room, your body, which, is mostly water, it gets in the way. You cast a sort of shadow in those radio waves, and as you move, that shadow moves with you, creating a disturbance. A receiver can then pick up on these tiny, tiny changes, and powerful algorithms translate them into data about your motion. It's pretty wild. And you might be shocked by how much of that signal actually gets through a wall. I mean, look at this. A regular brick wall? Yeah, it weakens the signal, for sure, but it absolutely doesn't block it completely. For a really sensitive receiver, that tiny little bit of signal that makes it to the other side is more than enough to detect if someone is moving over there. Heck, even a foot-thick concrete wall isn't a perfect shield, not even close. And this is a great way to see just how far the tech has come. The early methods, RSSI, were super simple. They basically just measured signal strength. Think of it like seeing a shadow get darker or lighter. That's it. Then we got Doppler methods, which were a bit smarter. They could tell if something was moving toward or away from the sensor. But the real game changer? That's CSI, or channel state information. This gives a crazy detailed picture of the signal. So detailed, it can actually recognize specific activities and even what pose a person is in. So you have this superpower. What do you do with it? Well, the really good news is that the first and most promising ideas are all about helping people. This tech could literally become an invisible guardian angel in our homes. And that's not just me saying that. That's a direct quote from the researchers who are building these systems. I mean, just imagine, you could monitor an elderly relative for a fall without having to put a camera in their private space. This tech makes that totally possible, just by detecting the specific signal disturbance of a fall. The potential here is just huge. It's already being used in some home security systems to spot intruders, but it can go so much deeper than that. We're talking about tracking someone's breathing rate or heart rate without ever touching them. This could lead to a truly smart home, one that doesn't just wait for you to give it a command, but actually responds to your presence, to your well-being. But like any powerful technology, there is always a flip side, a darker side. The exact same tool that can be a guardian can also be a spy, and it can do it invisibly without leaving a single trace. Yeah, this quote here, from a source talking about law enforcement, really brings home the high-stakes reality of this stuff. When you absolutely need to know what's happening inside a building, but you can't go in, well, this is the kind of tool you'd use. It's completely passive, basically undetectable. And let me tell you, this gets very real very fast. There are actual handheld devices out there, like the Ranger, that can pick up the tiny movements of a person's breathing from 50 feet away through solid concrete. This isn't some lab experiment. It's a real tool being used out in the world today. And that raises some really profound questions about privacy and, what it even means to be alone. So what about the law? Where does it stand on all this? Well, it's kind of murky. In the US, the Supreme Court has already ruled on tech that's pretty similar. thermal imaging. They said using it to scan a home is a search, and you need a warrant. Wi-Fi sensing, it's playing in that exact same legal and ethical ballpark. You're seeing what was, until now, completely unseeable. Okay, so where do we go from here? Is this always going to be some niche, high-tech gadget for spies and special forces? Or is this about to become a totally standard feature in our wireless world? Let's take a look at where this is all going. First things first, a quick reality check. We're not talking about X-ray vision that can see across an entire city. The range is actually pretty limited, usually just a room or two away. Most of the research stuff works in that 5 to 10 meter range. The commercial gear, like that RangeR device, pushes it out to maybe 15 meters, so about 50 feet. It's powerful, for sure, but it's very much a close quarters kind of thing. But, and this is a big but, don't let that limited range fool you. The level of detail they can get is advancing at an absolutely insane pace. I mean, researchers have already figured out how to use a couple of regular, off-the-shelf Wi-Fi routers to map the complete 3D skeletons of multiple people through a wall. We've gone way beyond just seeing a blob of movement. This is seeing a person's exact posture. And this right here, this might be the most important point of all. This crazy capability is moving out of research labs and is being written into the official Wi-Fi standard itself. A future update, 802.11bf, is being designed specifically to make this kind of wireless sensing a native, built-in feature. What does that mean? It means that pretty soon almost every single device with Wi-Fi could have this ability. It fundamentally changes what a connected device even is. And all of that, it leaves us with one final, massive question. We started this whole thing by asking if your router could see through walls. And we found out the answer is a definite yes. And very soon, almost every single wireless device is going to have that same power. So, in a world where every signal is also a sensor, what does privacy even mean anymore?